Absolutely.
Yeah.
And these hand, wrist injuries, finger injuries, tell us about why that's the most common.
Yeah, it's the most common. We see a big spike in these every around the 4th of July. And the big thing is just kind of common sense safety things with these. We see people that are kind of deviate away from what you're supposed to be doing, which is setting them down and lighting them.
Yes.
Instead, you get creative and you want to hold them in your hand, shoot them out of your hand, or even try to throw them, shoot them at each other. We see all kinds of
I've
different
done all
things.
those things, unfortunately.
I have as well, and somehow I came out of childhood with all my limbs. But so, some kind of basic preventable things to avoid these injuries, like not shooting them out of your hand, not throwing them, keeping them away from children as much as we can, those kinds of things.
Yeah. It makes sense, and we really did a lot of stupid stuff in the 80s and the 90s and maybe the early 2000s, and we can kind of laugh about it now, but I've seen some stuff on social media that just makes my heart drop, because people are so careless and they're always recording, Got to ask you, is there a particular group that gets hurt the most that you see come in on the 4th of July?
There are. Unfortunately, it's almost always men, young men, and that's who's out shooting fireworks off for the most, entertaining the family and things like that. Particularly if we're mixing alcohol into the mix a little bit, which we encourage you to stay away from while you're doing this, which is sometimes difficult, but yeah, it's usually young men.
Okay, that makes sense.
Men are attracted to the fire, unfortunately. I know I was, and I kind of graduated out of that. And like you said, we're lucky to make it through without any injuries. But Michelle mentioned it. You've probably seen some stuff that's just terrible, like really affected. You're supposed to have fun on this day and this weekend, and it really changed their lives forever.
Absolutely. I mean, we all want to have a nice, fun weekend. The fireworks are kind of ingrained into the culture. It's a big tradition on the holiday, but we want everybody to be safe, and we're not always thinking that it could be a devastating injury.
Look at that. Wow.
Injuries, kind of a spectrum of things that we see. Anything from minor burns all the way up to more like blast injuries where people are losing fingers or blowing off tips of fingers or even farther up into their hand or their thumb. So we want to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you do? If that happens in the moment, I think like, we got to go to the ER. Do we call 911 or do we, what do we do in that situation?
Yeah, great question. So, if you get something that's relatively minor, like a burn, sometimes local wound care at home is perfectly appropriate. If it's something more serious, you got to make a decision. Is it something worth that we can just take into urgent care or an emergency room? Or if it's really severe, yes, call 911 and they'll get you directed to the right place. Of course, you can always call our office as well, and we're pretty good about getting people in relatively quickly.
And we actually had someone on last week, I think, and we talked about the Hurt app.
Yep.
That's another one that you would do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Dr. Smith talked to you about the Hurt app. And that's basically an app where we're trying to facilitate people getting in quickly and sometimes even avoiding an unnecessary ER or urgent care visit. So you get on the app, and the app helps to get you directed to the appropriate provider or orthopedist.
Yeah, but I'd say if your hand, is bloody and stuff, you should probably go to the ER, call 911, right?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Knowing urgent care versus ER, what would you say? The thing where you should say, I'm not doing urgent care, I should go to ER.
Yeah,
How do you cut it off there?
That's a great question, and not always a black and white answer there. I think if you're talking about more minor scrapes, burns, cuts, even if there's a question of a broken bone, I think an urgent care is perfectly reasonable to do.
Okay.
The worst case scenario, if you get there and they say this is not something we're equipped to deal with, they send you to the emergency room. If you get into bigger injuries like large lacerations, a definitive broken bone, or you can see a bone in your hand or a tendon that's injured, I think that warrants a trip to the emergency room.
Yeah, and what's so interesting? I feel like with the hands, you just don't want to mess around. You could have a nerve injury or something. I cut myself in the kitchen last year, and I went to the ER. But I was so nervous that maybe I would not get feeling back in my thumb, and that was just something little. So can you imagine having a black cat go off in your hand or something like that?
Absolutely, we all use our hands every day. It's a big part of our life. Even just for you guys and us talking with our hands. So it's a very personal thing for everybody. So we want to keep all those digits attached.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I say we want all of our eyes,
All
our
our
fingers,
digits.
and our hands
That's the
on
goal.
Monday.
That's
yeah.
the goal.
That is the goal.
Any last minute thoughts real quick?
Yeah, have a great, safe holiday. We want everybody to enjoy themselves, but be safe at the same time, and hopefully in the weekend with as many fingers and toes as you started it with.
Are you going to be working?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully, Dr. Nathan Fisher will not be called in for some special
Available, but
reattachment.
hopefully not. That's
Yes,
right.
indeed. Wow. So, and by the way, everyone's thinking if a finger does get taken off, do you throw it in the freezer, or how does that work?
Yeah,
that's still the thing.
If you can find it.
Great question. Yeah, if you can find it, wrap it in a moist towel or gauze and get it on some cool ice. Actually, that's the recommendation. And put it in a Ziploc bag and bring it with you.
I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, that's
but
what
you
someone
know,
had to
I'm
ask
always
He
me.
loves
thinking
to
the
be
worst.
that guy. What are you talking about?
I love to be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Thank you,
Really
guys.
appreciate it. Sorry.